cheating you or dealing with bad countries abroad, such as dealing with Soviet Russia, if I know it about a given person, I would not deal with him. But you cannot spend your life inquiring into researching and censoring the views of all the people you deal with, so that unless it's come to your knowledge, you don't inquire into the morality of people with whom your dealings are very simple, usually simply a financial trade. In a store, you buy a given product from a given store, and that's it. If, however, it is a more close and long-range exchange, if it's a question of for whom you'll work or whom you would employ, then you have to have more precise standards, and you certainly should not want to work for or employ immoral people. But here again, you have to be careful. If you cannot pronounce your employer immoral because he doesn't agree with you, you cannot set yourself up as his censor. You can only judge if he has not done anything immoral in his business and doesn't require any moral action from you, then you can accept him. If, however, you know that he's a receiver of stolen goods and he wants you to cheat customers, then you do not deal with an employer of that kind.
Is there any reason to treat family members any differently than you would treat other people in this context?
None whatever. I am very much against family in that kind of sense, in a sense which makes a small tribe out of a family and makes you tied to every second cousin and aunt and uncles that you might have. The only exception is, of course, in regard to your parents, because there the relationship is different from that to any other person, and you have to acknowledge that. Generally, you do not break with your parents as easily as you would with other members of the family. Other members you have to judge as you would every person you meet. If you don't approve of them, you don't become friendly. You cannot choose your parents in that sense, and you have to give them a long, long benefit of the doubt and permit them, in effect, more offenses against yourself than you would to friends or acquaintances. You have to give them a certain credit for the fact that they chose to give birth to you and took care of you while you were helpless. But it's not an unlimited claim, and if you clash with your parents too much, then you have to maintain an attitude of polite duty and see as little of them as possible. And that's probably the only realm in which I recognize such a thing as duty. As a rule, it's a very wrong concept because it asks you to do something for which you have no reason. But the one reason that your parents gave you life would make you do more for them or bear more from them than any other people.
I'd like to turn to politics.
Fine.
You have stated that the government ought to be the exclusive agent for the use of force under objective rules of law and justice.
That's right.
And yet at the same time today we see an alarming rise in violent crimes in this country and more people applying for gun permits and wanting to protect themselves. Do you see this as a dangerous trend, number one? And number two, do you favor any form of gun control laws?
I haven't given it no thought at all. And offhand, I would say no, the government shouldn't control guns except in very marginal forms. I don't think it's very important because I don't think it's in physical terms that the decisions and the fate of this country will be determined. If this country falls apart altogether, if the government collapses bankrupt, your having a handgun in your pocket isn't going to save your life. What you would need is ideas and other people who share those ideas and the fighting towards a proper civilized government. not handguns for personal protection.
Ms. Rand, Article 6 of the Bill of Rights gives individuals the right to subpoena witnesses to testify in their favor, and people who don't respond to those subpoenas are subject to contempt citations and possible fines and imprisonment. Does this deny the freedom of the witness if he chooses not to testify?
No, not really. I'm in favor of those laws because if it's a court case, then somebody presumably has been hurt. The witness has knowledge that's relevant to the issue. And if he refuses to testify, he is the one who is then violating the rights of the defendant or whoever is involved. If either party needs the information which you have, you couldn't have a rational or an honest reason for refusing that information, because you're interfering with justice then. You're in effect saying the court may decide otherwise, but without me, but I don't want to testify. I don't think that that's legitimate.
Ms. Rand, the United States is an importer of people. We say that we're a nation of immigrants, and many of those immigrants have come from Europe, and yet our culture is significantly different, is it not, from the culture of Europe?
Oh, yes, certainly.
What are those differences?
The United States, from the beginning, is based by implication on a morality of selfishness. And it was always, through the years, the attraction for people who wanted to escape from tyranny in their homeland and to come here to the responsibility of standing on their own and being free. That is the opposite of the basic sense of life, as I call it, of Europe. In Europe, through its whole history, the various periods and ideas of people never changed on one basic point. Europe is a state-worshipping culture. It has always worshipped the power of the state, whether in the form of absolute monarchs or later collectivist people. It has never been based, nor does it even understand properly, the importance of the individual and of individual rights. That is an American concept, which some people in Europe certainly understand, but they are exceptions. They are not the representatives of the European culture. The European culture worships the state because it is so steeped in altruism and self-sacrifice, in the idea that man must exist for others, and therefore the greatest distinction that a European can dream of is to serve the state or to be rewarded by the state. The state is always regarded as an almost supernatural being, and the European is just a serf. In America, it's exactly opposite. America, by the way, is the first country in history that was based on a philosophy that was created deliberately and consciously, and it was an Aristotelian philosophy that was the root of America. The philosophy which respects the individual, understands individual rights, and believes that a society should be based on the recognition of individual rights. That was formulated in this form for the first time in the United States by the founding father. So that this is so great an achievement that centuries from now, men should kneel when they think of what an achievement the forefathers created in this country. And today, this is the country that is being denounced, derided, demeaned in any way by its intellectuals, when it is the greatest and noblest country in the world. Now, the common man, the public in this country, today is much better than its intellectuals. The poison is coming from the university, all universities, particularly their philosophy department, and the philosophies are coming